The father grabbed his daughter by the hair, his gaze sweeping over her from head to toe, a sight utterly unbefitting of a father. He stared intently at the girl and said, "You've grown up." Fear and fury swirled within her as she watched her father place his hand on her face, powerless to resist. Fortunately, he did nothing more and simply turned and left her room. The next day, the girl remained shaken. She couldn't stop thinking about the previous night. Yet, turning it over in her mind, she concluded it wasn't her father's fault something was wrong with the house. Their family had just moved in a few days prior, and on the very first night, strange things began to happen. Eerie, unceasing noises came from outside the rooms. Unable to sleep, the mother woke the father to investigate. What they saw was their neighbor swaying unsteadily inside his own house, his actions inexplicable. Every night since, deafening noises would erupt, tormenting the entire family until dark circles formed under their eyes from sleep deprivation. The father was reluctant to confront the neighbor, assuming the disturbances would die down after a few days. But after he left for work one day, something horrifying occurred. A dead cat appeared hanging outside their window. The daughter, waking and stepping out, was confronted with this ghastly sight and fainted on the spot. Enraged upon hearing this, the father reasoned that since only their family and the neighbors lived there, the skinned cat must have been hung by them. Determined to confront the neighbor, he found the door unlocked and entered. Inside, an animal skeleton confirmed his suspicions. The neighbor was clearly a psychopath. The place was littered with animal carcasses and pelts. Even a rockery was shaped into a terrifying grimace. Terrified, the father knocked, and when the door creaked open on its own, he mustered his courage to step in. The interior seemed empty, but the floor was smeared with blood. He stepped carefully, yet the metallic scent grew thicker the further he went. The room was filled with inverted crosses, various animal remains, and a gutted goat, a truly horrifying scene. As fear gripped him, something touched his shoulder from behind. It was the occupant of the house, his eyes gleaming with menace. No matter what the father said, the neighbor remained utterly silent. Sensing danger, the father abandoned any thought of argument and hastily sidestepped him to flee that hellish place. The ordeal left the father deeply traumatized. That night, when the mother and daughter were awakened by noise again, he showed no intention of confronting the neighbor. It was only after discovering that Lisa's siblings were also disturbed that his patience finally snapped. He called the police, hoping they would arrest the deranged neighbor. However, the neighbor was perfectly polite to the officers. Even when the father mentioned the dead cat, the police found nothing incriminating. No corpses, no goat, no blood, or stench. It looked like an ordinary home, with only a machine occasionally whirring. Convinced the police were deceived, the father believed the neighbor was far more sinister than he appeared and urged them to check upstairs. But the officers, unwilling to waste more time, departed. As they left, the father caught the neighbor staring at him with a gaze that seemed ready to devour him. Too frightened to ever provoke him again, the father didn't realize that from that moment on, misfortune had already befallen them. That night, as Lisa slept, her blankets were yanked away. She saw it was her father, who uttered words so chilling she didn't dare close her eyes all night. The next day, Lisa pondered the incident, yet her father awoke, acting as if nothing had happened. She couldn't tell if he had forgotten or was deliberately pretending in front of everyone. Furious, Lisa refused to eat. After she left, even the usually gentle mother began acting strangely. When her son merely commented that the food was too salty, she frantically began shoveling it into her own mouth. Her face twisted grotesquely as she ate relentlessly, then thrust the food toward the boy, forcing him to eat. Stunned, the father watched as the mother, enraged by the boy's refusal, overturned the dishes on the table. The gentle mother seemed a completely different person, slamming the table violently and screaming at her son. Lisa, about to leave, was frozen by the scene. First, her father had sneakily entered her room, and now her mother was acting just as bizarrely. What was happening to their family? Why did everyone seem suddenly possessed? That evening, when the father returned, the mother was laughing heartily at a comedy show on TV, seemingly having forgotten her morning outburst. When questioned, she claimed she had been at a friend's place that morning. The father felt something was off, but couldn't pinpoint what. Around 11 p.m., Lisa's older sister was showering when the bathroom door suddenly swung open from water pressure. As she hurried to turn off the water, Lisa appeared out of nowhere, startling her. Lisa said many strange things, claiming her sister must hate her and their brother, even urging her to kill them both. Bewildered by Lisa's madness, the sister dressed and went to confront her. But Lisa insisted she had been in her room all along, then revealed what their father had done the previous night. As she spoke, their father suddenly pushed the door open, terrifying both sisters. It seemed Lisa's instincts were right. Their family was truly losing its mind. Seeing her father pick up a utility knife, the older sister rushed to knock him down, but like an apparition, he suddenly reappeared outside the door, grabbed her by the hair, and threw her downstairs. Lisa fled to the kitchen in terror, but her father quickly pursued, wielding a large hammer as if she were his mortal enemy. Just as Lisa thought they were doomed, her father's voice suddenly called from downstairs. If he was down there, who was this before her? The imposter seemed to realize the jig was up, dropped the hammer, and fled, Soon, another father came upstairs. The two sisters, unable to tell which was real, could only huddle together in fear. This father, seeing the hammer and the hole in the door, assumed the sisters had been fighting. But as he lectured them, their mother approached, also holding a hammer, and without hesitation attacked him. After taking several blows, the father struggled to restrain her, but she threw him off effortlessly. With a sinister smile, she then stopped and left, stepping on broken glass without flinching, before retreating to her room. Yet another mother's voice soon called from downstairs. No one could make sense of it. In a panic, the father opened the door the first mother had entered. Now the room was empty. Finally, they understood. The parents they had just encountered were not real. The house itself was the problem. The only thing the father could do was call his uncle, a priest, for an exorcism. Upon hearing the news, the priest rushed over. As he arrived, the door swung open by itself. The demon was inside, inviting him in. The priest discovered a mutilated corpse. This was the house's true owner, brutally murdered by the demon, which had then assumed his form to live there. The neighbor the father had seen was the demon all along. It fed on human emotions like anger and fear, enabling it to shapeshift into any form. The priest decided to stay the night to protect the family. However, late that night, the young son got up alone to use the bathroom. After he left, an exact double walked in, approached the priest with a knife, raised it high, and forcefully stabbed his forehead. Instead of delivering a killing blow, the double turned and left. At that moment, the sleeping priest opened his eyes. He had been feigning sleep, having installed surveillance that captured the entire event. If the demon could impersonate the boy last night, it could be anyone today. With no way to instantly identify the imposter, the best solution was to summon the bishop for a formal exorcism. The priest left for the airport to pick up the bishop, instructing his brother to watch over the family, especially the eldest daughter. That morning, he had secretly added holy water to everyone's drink except hers. Her refusal to drink confirmed she was now the demon in disguise. After the priest left, the father quickly tied up his eldest daughter, warning his wife she was the demon and not to show mercy. Meanwhile, Lisa went to the basement to fetch a crucifix. Once the priest returned, they could use it to drive the demon out. The father was confident, unaware that Lisa in the basement was facing a nightmare. She heard her sister calling her, but her sister was tied up upstairs. How could she be here?
현주야.
The next moment, terror struck Lisa, was burned alive. Meanwhile, the priest realized something was wrong. The bishop said he had never asked to be picked up. It was all a trap set by the demon to lure the priest away so it could attack the family. To delay his return, the demon even controlled a flock of crows to obstruct him. The priest's car plunged off a cliff, but miraculously, he survived and made his way back on foot. Determined to end this, the priest decided to perform the exorcism himself. He began viciously whipping the eldest daughter with willow branches, ignoring her pleas. As she grew weak, the mother, unable to bear it any longer, rushed over and embraced the priest, begging him to stop. But the father wouldn't listen, believing greater force would expel the demon faster. Unbeknownst to them, at the crash site, the real priest lay unconscious near the wrecked car. The family had been deceived. By preventing the priest's timely return, the demon had seized the chance to impersonate him and eliminate the family. With just a bit of scheming, it had turned them against each other. Even if the father realized the truth now, it was too late. No one in the house was a match for the demon. Fortunately, the real priest finally returned, but the demon, still possessing the eldest daughter, gave chase. The priest hesitated to harm his niece, but the father, now fearless, doused her with holy water. The demon let out a piercing shriek. Seizing the moment, the priest began the rite, covering the demon's eyes while reciting scripture. Yet, when it spoke in his niece's voice, his resolve wavered, and he loosened his grip. In that instant, the demon backhanded him, sending him flying. With no other option, the priest removed his crucifix necklace and prayed for divine intervention. He begged God to seal the demon within his own body, allowing his brother to thrust the crucifix into him. In the end, both the demon and the priest perished together.